It's your daily dose of Donna. Happy Friday, my favorite day of the week. It is Friday, September 6th, and it was a short week, meaning we got through this lickety split. I don't know if any of you guys feel this way, but I feel like I didn't get anything done that I needed to get done because we started the week 4 seconds ago. I also spent my night at back to school night last night. And does anyone actually enjoy back to school night? I'm seriously asking, for parents and for teachers, who actually enjoys back to school night? This is the dilemma. It could have been a Zoom. I love my school. And actually a lot of my kids teachers, like former and current and whatever, they are dosers. They love this show. So hi guys, love you. Thank you for being such good teachers. And for anyone out there that is a teacher, I can't wait to get into today's show. We have so much to talk about. I have to just get through my intro so that I can bring my guest, Mary Payne from the Pink Shade podcast, onto the stage. So before we bring Mary Payne up, just remember to subscribe, comment. You know I love watching and reading your comments. Yesterday, I officially went over the threshold of 15.6 thousand subscribers. So thank you so much for subscribing and being here and commenting and leaving 5-star reviews and ratings. Everyone, get cozy because we've got a lot to talk about on today's Daily Dose of Donna. And now I know I'm not alone in dancing because I just saw a little box of Mary Payne right below me, and she was jiving to my opening music. You guys, I love the vibes, right? Let's make a dance club for adults, a sober daytime dance club. Can we do that? Anyone want to start that? I will be there. Everyone, get ready. Mary Payne with an even prettier wallpaper than this guy. Welcome to the show, Mary Payne.
Hey,
I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, I love to dance. Whenever I play my theme music, I'm always like, yeah. And I've heard it a zillion times. I'm just like, this is fun. This is fun. You gotta get into the mood. You gotta get ready to chat. You gotta do the thing. Yeah.
When you watch TV shows, like scripted shows that have the same intro and they're always weird songs, weird intros. Remember Mad Men was so weird. I know the morning show is I'm so confused by it every time it plays. Succession. Well, I actually loved the
Succession one is good. Yeah.
But I can't find myself fast forwarding fast enough to get through those openings.
Really? See, it just depends on the Sopranos theme music was so good. And then Yellow Jackets has that that hardcore music. I love it.
Can we talk about this for 2 seconds? Because you talked about Yellow Jackets when I was on your show last week.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. Yeah.
I watched 2 episodes. I felt so disturbed. I don't know if I can get through it. Does it get easier? It's really dark.
Well, okay. Let's give it a couple more episodes because I think you're going to want to see where it goes. Yeah. If after 2 more you can't do it, then I understand. But it's high level television.
There's something about cannibalism and plane crashes. It brings me back to Alive. Wasn't that the name of that movie?
Yeah, with Ethan Hawke. Yeah.
Yes, and I swear that movie scarred me when I watched it.
Yeah, that and Jaws were it for me.
Jaws.
Jaws. I don't go in the ocean. Literally, if I can't
because of Jaws.
If I can't look in the ocean and see my complete toenail polish, everything about my feet, then I am not in that ocean.
Wow, I don't like an ocean either, to be honest. I mean, we could start a support group because, who wants to go into the unknown?
Not me.
Nope. Not me. I've seen some crazy ass creatures on Discovery Channel.
My dream goal of my life, and my listeners know this, I talk about it nonstop, is to have a beach house, but I want to just have a beach house. I want to look at the ocean. I'd like to walk next to the ocean. I like to sit by the ocean. I don't want to go into the ocean.
I am with you 1000%. So is Katie from last night's Real Housewives of OC. She said the same thing. She's like, I love nature from a distance in a chair with a cocktail.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm with you. Mm-hmm. I'm totally with you. So, Mary Payne, how often do you do your pod? I know a lot of my dosers are big fans of yours. We have some crossover there. So, it's 4 or 5 days a week as well, right?
Well, I do 3 on the free feed. I think we're supposed to say public feed now. That's the verbiage we're supposed to use. It's always changing. So
Oh,
3 on
is
the
there like a PC way to say?
yeah, you don't say free feed, you say the public feed.
Oh my God.
It's 3 free podcasts a week, okay? On the
Okay.
Apple, the Spotify, wherever you get your stuff, right? And then I do 1 to 2 on the Patreon Supercast, Apple subscriptions, all that. And I do 1 every Friday, and for real, never miss that ever, even if I'm, like, sick or on vacation, it always comes out.
Love
And
that.
th and then on the higher level, I always do, like, a special show, like, we just are finishing up Forbidden Love, which is a great show on TLC about people in different religions, getting married. It's
Okay.
really, really good. Learning a lot from the Learning Channel, as we
Like
do.
when you're saying forbidden love, are we talking about like religion,
Yes.
like Romeo and Juliet, but more modern reasons, basically?
Yeah, it's like a Muslim and a Catholic. It's like a Catholic and a Jewish guy, like, Orthodox Jewish guy, like, so she's gotta really convert and do the wig and the whole thing. And
Wow.
then we've got, an Amish guy. I mean, for real, an Amish guy marrying, like, just like a regular English girl out in the world, you know?
Oh, wow.
So, it's really good. It's coming to an end. It's really, really good. So, and
Okay,
whole
forbidden
Love
love.
is yeah, Love is Blind, like, we do some of those like, the $10 higher level because those shows take a lot of work.
I
Yeah.
know. I know.
Yeah.
There's so much content. Are you going to be watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives that just came out at midnight, I think? And I believe one of my dosers, Andrew Dominguez, said he watched all of them, I think, already.
I think they put out and I don't know, but I think they put out 4, and then next week they'll start dropping them week by week, which is a great way to do it to get you, like, real addicted.
I'm
Um,
so with you.
yeah, I'm with it. No, I haven't. So I have so much to watch during the week that usually I kinda catch up on what I wanna watch on the weekend,
Yeah.
or I start that grind again. So I was just watching Unsolved Mysteries this week because I love unsolved mysteries, and
It's still on TV. This is not like an old replay
no,
situation.
no, this is, they've had 4 seasons now of, like, the reboot. And so, Kimberly and Katie, my friends from A Date with Dateline, they covered one of the episodes, and so I listened, and I was like, "Okay, well, damn it, now I gotta watch it," and they're unsolved, so there's no, like, gratification at the end, like the bad guy's in jail. You're like, "Well, shit, it's
Yeah.
solved." So, I was watching a little bit of that last night, and then I had to watch OC, and mostly Bravo stuff is mostly for me for fun. I talk about Bravos on my Thursday show, but I don't have to, like, take extensive notes, which I have to do for all the TLC shows, so Bravo is my guilty pleasure. I still talk about it, but with some other pop culture stuff, like when you came on, that's what we did.
Yeah, you do once a week. I remember you said you do like a Bravo week. So apparently, according to my comments, they dropped all 8 episodes of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
interesting, and everyone is saying it's so good. Like, I have not heard one person say something negative about the show so far. So that is exciting for me because we all love a good binge,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
and
you
I'm very
should.
interested in and it's that whole thing too about the religion, like, it's gonna be so interesting, like, this year on, Roni that we're gonna have the girl that's a Scientologist,
I don't know if they're gonna touch it, and I worry that they won't. I have
but
some weird feeling that we're not even gonna go there.
because they're so litigious that the Scientologists will come
Maybe
after.
it's yeah, maybe it's like some door that they don't even wanna open and they're just hoping it goes away, but Rebecca Minkoff has some crazy, crazy scandalous, like, past from her family in Scientology. Like, it's not even just her, it's her dad.
It's her
Her
dad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you've heard the story, right? Like, her dad was a doctor for Scientologists, and he gave bad medical advice and was responsible for, like, the death of certain maybe, like, not
Allegedly.
personally.
We don't
Allegedly.
know. We don't know.
Allegedly, we've waded in the Scientology waters here on Daily Dose of Donna,
Oh,
and I'm
well,
not scared of them.
okay,
Is that
allegedly,
weird
I
to say
am.
out loud? You
Yeah,
are.
it is. Mhm, I am. I've read Going Clear twice. Yeah.
Listen, I should be scared of them, but I feel like there's so many bigger fish to fry, when it
No,
comes to, like, anti-Scientology people.
they're
No,
they're
I'm just
not.
like a
They're not.
small.
No, you're just the right size for them, just bite size.
Well,
They'll get you.
speaking of that, this is actually something that I wanted to bring up, and I post okay, you guys. So we need to talk about Rachel Zoe really fast. And I gave you a little bit of a heads up of
Okay,
what I was going to talk about, but this is all alleged and this is all hearsay.
okay.
And I say that for a reason because I got a DM early this morning from a new person that's never DM me. So, it goes in your requests. And I saw it and she was so kind and so sweet. And really, like, I actually believe she's a doser. She listens to my show. She's like, I love pop culture, joining Patreon, da da da. Anyway, this DM said, and I posted it on my stories and then quickly removed it. And I'll explain to you why. But
Oh, shoot.
this DM says, and I'm taking some stuff out
By
of
the way, are
here.
we allowed to curse?
Yeah. I mean, I curse here and there. I think YouTube only really like kills you if you overly curse, but I say the
Okay.
F word every once in a while
Okay, I
on
just
stuff.
wanna know because I have such a bad mouth and I'm always trying to, like, I okay.
No, and
I'll
also, by the way,
okay.
one of the comments said that you sound like Sutton. Do you get that a
Oh,
lot?
well, I'm from Mississippi and she's from South Carolina, so great.
You
Listen,
guys are like little Southern belles.
yeah, when I tried to talk to her at BravoCon, 2 years ago, she wasn't that interested in hearing about our people that we had in common. I was like, "Oh, we know people in common." She's like, "Who?" I was like, "I gotta go."
Name them.
Name them. I was like, "I gotta go. I'm scared of you. Bye."
She literally started the name 'em trend with you, and you just didn't even know.
I mean, I didn't even know. I heard her on, I think it was Jeff Lewis's show the other day, and they were asking her something, and they kept pounding her about something, and she was like, "Name them." I was like, "That's right, girl. Put
Yep,
that on a
yep.
shirt." Yeah. I've
It's
got
it's
my shirt that says I'm a slutton. I love it.
oh, a Sutton, I love that
Mhm.
so much. I really like Sutton. I
I
can't
do
help
too.
it. I really
I
like
love her.
her.
So thank you to whoever said that. I take it as a compliment. I too get $300,000 a month in, spousal support.
I
That's
get
how I
300.
afford this wallpaper.
Yeah, and thank you for doing this pro bono. I really appreciate this is like your charity work.
Charity work. You know me.
Okay, so this back to Rachel Zoe. I mentioned it earlier in the week. We were doing a little deep diving on TikTok and stuff because she has been really showing up with content on her social media, and none of it has anything to do with her husband Roger, who was a big part of her like public life. There's certain people out there that you'll never see them with their spouses, but that was not the case for them. They were on a show together, they had a podcast together. He was on red carpets with her all the time. So it was a little bit obvious to anyone that started to realize this. And a lot of dosers came to my DM saying, like, can you go into this? Well, I got a DM saying, I'm friends with someone who grew up with Rachel Zoe.
Mhm.
And she confirmed for me that Rachel and Roger are definitely getting divorced. He asked for the divorce, just saying, thought you would like the info. Love you. Okay. Just saying, this is a DM I got. I have no confirmation whatsoever. However, I did receive, when I posted it on my stories with all the info blocked out, I did receive multiple DMs from very, very popular gossip blogger accounts like Dumois, who
Mhm.
said, Donna, be careful. Like, I'm not scared of Scientology, but I should be scared of Rachel Zoe because apparently Rachel Zoe is very litigious. And I do not in any way want to be sued by Rachel Zoe. I want Rachel and Roger to be together. Like, I'm a fan of that couple. Did you watch the Zoe Project,
I
Rachel
did.
Zoe
Yeah,
Project?
yeah, 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 yeah.
I thought they were so perfectly like in love, and I didn't
Mhm.
understand like how either of them could be with each other, but they loved each other. This is sad to me.
It is sad, and, thoughts and opinions of Daily Dose of Donna do not reflect the thoughts of the Pink Shade LLC podcast. I don't
Thoughts
wanna
of
get
Daily
sued.
Dose of Donna do not reflect Donna Bowling in any capacity. I have nothing to do with what I say.
I think it's very sad. I've always liked them as a couple. I'm so endlessly fascinated by her and her brand and her caftans. I wanna live a caftan life. I just said I want to live on the beach. I wanna live like a coastal grandmother. I do, and she's been a coastal grandmother since she was 20.
For
Um,
real.
I'm fascinated by her gorgeous children and their beautiful eyes, and, I am gonna be sad if this is true, but it sounds like, the person who allegedly sent you a DM allegedly said that they're getting a divorce. But
Yeah.
you clocked that Roger's not been around. Are you the first person that noticed this? Because
No,
I've only seen it on your story.
someone brought it to my attention and then I couldn't stop. And then I
Yeah.
realized that like there wasn't a lot, there was some chatter, but apparently some people that message me have heard the same. I'm so sad about it. It does make me sad because they have two beautiful, beautiful sons. And anytime
Yeah.
you have kids, but I do believe she has an incredible brand. She has a huge support circle. Like she's so, I mean, she just celebrated her birthday with like 40 women. I can't find 40 women if
I
I paid them on
I
the street.
I don't think I know 40 women.
Ramona Singer does. Remember that? Remember she would always have those lunches with 50 women.
These are my friends. These are my true friends. What can I say? I have a lot of friends.
These are my inner circles.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that to me is wild. I've never had that many friends, but I will say that I think she'll be okay. I mean, she's got a
Yeah.
supportive family. She's really close with her sister, etc. But it's
But
always
we
sad to
don't
hear
know.
that.
Should we also be worried about Roger? Like, let's don't just put it all on her. Like, is
Yeah,
Roger
where
gonna
is
be
Roger?
okay? Like, what happened?
I don't know. He's probably
Maybe
going to
she
open.
did something allegedly.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Anything could happen. Roger probably like met Jax Taylor, and next thing you know, he became like an asshole. Allegedly.
No,
Now,
listen, don't put that on Raj.
Raj. Okay,
Raj
but
loved he loved a scarf around the neck. He reminds me of Jesse from the Valley.
so true. He
Yeah.
really does have that kind of like metrosexual Jesse
Yeah,
vibe.
he would bring his own cocktail shaker on a trip for fear that the house would not have the correct cocktail shaker. Yeah.
He so would. He's probably very into glassware. Okay, so speaking of Jax Taylor, because I know we have to get to a few different stories before OC. Jax Taylor has come out of his intensive, I say this in quotes because he writes this, intensive inpatient treatment.
Mhm.
He has come out of it, and he is now being very like present. He's showing up at his bar again. He's around,
Mm,
he's posting on social media. I
mm,
know that the cast of The Valley is in Hawaii right now. He is not with them. But
mm.
Brittany mentioned on their joint podcast, When Reality Hits, that they will continue the podcast but separately. So this is going to be interesting. Now,
Wait,
he
wait,
is,
wait. Wait, let's stop right there. I have a question.
yeah,
So it'll be like 1 week she's the host, the next week he's the host. Are they splitting it into 2 separate podcasts? That would be stupid because they've got the RSS feed, so they should keep it as one.
they should keep it as one. It should be like a his and hers. And
Yeah.
and it's a custody. But you know what? I just
It
have a
is like
strong
custody.
feeling that Jax is like just gonna not show up to like a lot of he's gonna Tom Sandoval his podcast. He's gonna slowly leave, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be Brittany's podcast. But it is sad they started this podcast together. And if you go back to like the earlier episodes, obviously we knew they were never like perfectly happy, but I really do believe that she thought they were gonna be together forever. And
Yeah, I do too.
she was willing to overlook so much. That guy is such a jerky jerk, allegedly.
Nobody should not allegedly, we've seen it on TV. He
Don't sue me, people.
No, I just think that it's so rough with Jax because season 1 Jax, I was in love with season 1 Jax. I was in love with his toxic masculinity. I was because listen, that's the kind of guy back in my single days that I would go for. I'd be like, "Oh yeah, this guy is so hot, so he probably won't
Mhm.
even like me, and then he does like me, so he can just treat me however I because he's just so good looking." Now, eventually you get tired of it like Stassi and you throw his shit onto the lawn. But
Right.
I think that reality TV was probably the worst thing that ever happened to him because it really, it brought all his bad features to light, and not one person ever thought she should have married him, not one person, and then they had a kid, and people were like, "Probably shouldn't have a baby with him." Let me tell you what, I'm surprised she didn't pull like a Khloe Kardashian and be like, "You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and have another baby with him. That way I was hot for that chunky sweater. That I was, and when you ripped it off in that parking lot, oh, um, so hot." But but I think that, um, when they got married and I forgot what I was saying. I got so verklempt about
You
that
got
sweater.
sweaty and hot. I had to just throw that out there. No, that they got married against all better judgment, like,
Yes, I think she
everyone.
didn't yeah, I think I'm surprised she didn't do the Khloe Kardashian, like, "I already have 1 kid with this guy, I'm gonna go ahead and just have another one, that way my kids will have the same dad, and then I'll just be done having kids."
Well,
I'm
she
very
wanted
surprised.
to. She
Yeah,
wanted to at the end of The Valley, right? Wasn't that like a big storyline? And he was hesitant to because he's like, "I'm just so stressed. I have the
yeah,
bar. So
yeah.
stressed. I have so many businesses. I'm doing a hair sponsoring treatment." Like, remember that hair He was doing like a Rogaine situation. But
Yes,
the
I
point,
remember.
but the point is that he clearly, I mean, they weren't having sex. Let's be real. If
You
you're
can't
not
get pregnant without the sex.
no,
Yeah.
I've heard that's hard.
Yeah.
You can, it just requires a lot of other, it
Mhm.
doesn't just miraculously happen, but they were not sleeping together. He was an asshole to her, and she was annoyed
Yeah.
with him. Like, it was obviously not going well, but he gets out of treatment, right? Which he says was mental health treatment,
Mhm.
and Lego Zach, very, very popular on this podcast for his hairdo,
Love.
tweeted something. I'm gonna share it with us right now, and
Ooh.
this is really interesting to me, but he tweeted, "Riddle me this. How is it possible you come out of rehab a worse person than when you went in?"
I'm
I
just
don't think he's
laughing at the
talking.
Danny Gossip Girl
Oh, yeah,
meme on the
her. Yeah,
side.
you see her. She's in the comments right now. She's right here.
Hilarious.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really wild that he said that. Number 1, they're in Hawaii right now, so they're not even in the same place. Maybe there was a few too many Mai Tais getting slung his way, and he was just like, I'm gonna attack this guy because maybe oh, sorry, whoops, there you are.
Hi.
Maybe he was, like, maybe Brittany's getting all these horrible text messages
Oh,
from
I'm sure.
Jax.
I'm sure.
Right? He's here with Cruz and he's probably sending Brittany like horrible things. Like, I
I'm
can just
sure.
imagine. Why did you do this to him? Why is he wearing this? Why does he not have his stuff in the right backpack? Like,
You're a
probably just
terrible mother. I mean, that's his thing. You're a terrible mother. Oh, you wanna have kids, be a better mother. I mean,
right.
he's awful, and I will say that this season, watching her with the stomach things all the time, he's like, "'Cause you drink too much, 'cause you drink too much." I have to tell you something. I went through many years with my husband who's 10 years recovering alcoholic, okay? Doing great, but I'm saying back in those years, I had a stomach issue that we could not diagnose that I went to Johns Hopkins for, that we could not diagnose the problem with my stomach. Hey, guess what? Once my husband got sober, I didn't have any more stomach problems.
So it really was an element
Stress.
of stress.
It was stress,
Mm.
100% stress, diagnosed later, like, "Oh, well, you should have told us you had all this stress in your life because we could have figured that out." Because at the time we were, when I was having all this stress, we were building our house, and so they kept going, "Oh," I go, "I'm not really stressed about that. Like, really, it's fun." I mean, yeah, I'm stressed about, like, we don't have any money, but I'm not like that's not giving me the stress that would make me so physically sick on a daily basis. But
Wow. And you
what will make
couldn't.
you physically sick is when you're hiding a huge secret in your home,
Well,
which is
so
what
that's
she was
what it
doing.
was. Yeah. She was
Yes.
hiding. And God knows what she was hiding because this part is actually kind of interesting. And I'm curious what you think about this. Not only did Zach say the word rehab in his tweet, so did Sheena
Mm.
and on her new podcast. Sheena, I believe I have the clip here. Yes, I
New
always love
podcast? You mean like her latest episode? She
her
didn't start a
latest
new podcast.
episode.
Okay.
Well, Sheena kind of essentially uh, why don't you listen to what she said? I believe she had Talk of Shame, the Instagram
Mhm.
Kiki. I
Kiki.
believe that was who was on her podcast, but she said this on her latest podcast, and I wonder if you guys agree that maybe this wasn't just mental health. Check
Okay.
this out.
It's because, like, obviously he just came out with that statement where he was like, basically saying he just was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and he had like
Mhm.
PTSD, and he's like saying he's going through this mental health. I'm curious, like, you talk about your mental health openly. Like, do you have any empathy? Are you trying to reach out to him in any way?
Look, if that was the only reason he sought treatment, yes.
Okay. And we'll leave it at that.
She's basically referring to something that it was a lot bigger than a mental health crisis. So now we've had the rehab statement from Zach, and then that, and then one other thing that I thought was super interesting. There is a Instagram account called Vanderpod Recaps, and she's actually a doser. She loves the show, so I always try to shout her out. And she noticed something really interesting in the description of the podcast when it was released, because Jax just released a podcast today of When Reality Hits, which I'll play a little part of for you guys too. But he just released a little portion of the podcast, and in the description, when she first went to go recap it, she saw this. In his first episode since he got out of rehab, Jack sits down with his friend and life coach, Scott Kaufman, to talk about his experience. And then a couple hours later, it said, in his first episode since leaving an inpatient treatment facility and revealing his bipolar diagnosis.
Wait, go
Jack
back
touchdown.
to the, what did it say?
In his first episode since he got out of rehab.
Oh,
And then they changed it to inpatient treatment facility. I believe
Oh,
it all signs are pointing to the fact that this was more of a drug rehab, some sort of whether it is or alcohol, I don't know, substance, something sort of. All signs are pointing that way to
so
me.
it's a substance abuse, which probably gave him a mental health issue, or a mental health issue that gave him substance abuse. They're very closely related. Somebody is generally going to get mental health treatment or drug treatment because one or the other, they cross over. It's a lot of self-medicating happening there, especially you hear a lot of people with bipolar disorder. A lot of people with bipolar disorder do self-medicate because they don't know. That's the thing. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I'm just saying from my experience being in a lot of these rooms with Al-Anon and all that. That's very interesting. And by the way, we might even have more empathy for him if he was more honest. But now that there's this shell game going on, you're like, Jax is just doing Jax.
Yeah.
Jax is just doing Jax, just lying by omission, and he's not going to get. Listen, he made that post of himself like sitting on a couch looking at some papers.
I can't.
And he's like, now
I
I've
see right through
discovered.
it.
I'm like, we've watched you for 15 years, 12 years on our television. Nobody believes you, sir. You
Yep.
lie about lying, like you lie
Yep.
about everything.
I mean, his name isn't even Jax. Like, let's just remember that. It goes
Right.
really down to the beginning. I mean, Michelle says there was some onset incident. She believes, and I believe that this is the truth too. There was some onset incident while they were filming, and production gave him an ultimatum. Either production gave him an ultimatum to go to this rehab,
Mhm.
or Brittany gave him an ultimatum for his son. And that's why he said something along the lines as, I want to, like, his first post when he went into the treatment was like, I'm doing this for my son.
By the
Last
way,
thing,
mostly when you're in treatment, they don't let you have your phone.
I thought the exact same thing, by the way.
Yeah.
I said, if you're in a mental health treatment,
Mhm.
especially mental health, the last thing you want is access to social media. Are you
Right.
joking? It's
Right.
like giving yourself poison.
Yeah, unless he called his he called his social media manager, or he called his publicist and was like, "Hey, go into my Instagram and post this.
No,
Don't
but
look at
he
the
talks
DMs though."
I know, but I know, right? But he talks about his experience on his podcast today, and let me share this with you. Someone just got a couple clips of it, so I find it really interesting, just because I don't want to listen to an hour of Jax talking about how amazing and how changed he is. But
Oh
he did
God.
talk about his time at the mental health facility, and this is what he said about
Let's
it.
get into it. Yeah, a lot is going on. That's for sure. I mean, everyone listening, I'm sure has heard already that, back in July, I checked myself into a mental health facility. I was in an inpatient facility for about 30 days. It was a very, very scary step for me, and but it really, really needed to happen. It's something I've been like holding on to for many, many years. Gosh, this is gonna be tough to say. So I was in an inpatient facility for 30 days, and I'm sure we can all relate. It's all something that we have all gone through. I knew something wasn't right with me, and I was really, really scared to find out really what it was. I've known for years that there's been something wrong, but I just kind of didn't want to know. And well, during my stay, I kind of found out a lot about myself. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I now have a little bit better understanding of my mental health struggles. I've been put on some serious medication that's actually been helping me out a lot. And, in time, I'll definitely speak more about it openly. But right now, I kind of just need to, deal with this process. I'm doing a lot of, reading up on it and research on it, because this is a serious, serious disorder. And I know a lot of people out there are going through this kind of thing. And, I want to hear from other people. I want to talk to other people about it and how they deal with it. However, though, I will touch on a few things.
Okay, and he goes into his schedule, his daily schedule, and he says that he woke up every morning, went to Crunch Gym.
Mhm.
What? With a nurse,
Mhm.
that's surprising to me that they let them out of the facility for an inpatient treatment facility to go to a gym, like a public gym. I'm surprised by that. I don't know why. But
I can only speak on my husband's experience when he was in a 90-day treatment center, and you had to like earn to go to the gym.
oh,
So you had to be there. First of all, you had to be there like 30 days, and then you had to, prove that you were trustworthy, and then they would let you go to the gym, or you could literally like go to Walgreens with the group, but you had to earn it. So I don't know what kind of 30 day he was in, some sort of cushy 30-day situation. And by the way, I will say this, my opinion, and most people that are advocates in this space will tell you 30 days is not enough. If there's any way our healthcare system is broken, people should be able to just automatically do 90 days, because 90 days is really where you get the most bang for your buck. And if you've had 20, 30 years of mental health struggles, you need to be there longer, sometimes 6
Yeah.
months. So
And
30
it's a
days is not going to scratch the
lifelong
surface of what's wrong with this guy, you know?
No, and it's a lifelong process. Like, I'm sure your husband is still,
It's
working on
daily.
himself.
It's daily. It's
Yeah, it's a
daily.
daily
Yeah.
commitment, and that is not just if you have an addiction. That's for any sort of like, that's why I'm
Yes.
saying with Jax, he said he didn't go to therapy at the end of the season last season because it was too
Right.
far.
Too far. Mhm.
It's
She's been
unreal.
asking him to go for years. She said
Years.
years.
And he did go to therapy, I wanna say, on and off during Vanderpump Rules days, but, like, it was never good therapy, whoever he went to. I just remember seeing him. This is a man that is constantly talking out of his ass about how he's changing. So I would love to see the change, and I really wanna believe him, but everything he says just points to being another lie to me.
If you're a well-known liar, it's going to take people another 10 years to believe you're telling the truth. I mean, and I can't think of anybody in a public space. I mean, I could think of like Robert Downey Jr. might
Yeah.
be one of those people that have really shown that he's changed, as far
Mhm.
as a public figure. And in our own lives, you've got to know somebody that's been through a mental health struggle that led to addiction or whatever. They really takes a long time for it to build back trust for the people in their lives. So for Jax, I mean, the person having to deal with him the most closely is Brittany, um, and probably his sister.
Yeah.
And so it'll take years to build that up. And then for us, have been watching on our TV, we're not buying it.
No, no,
Mhm.
it's like, you have to show us, like, evidence for us to believe you at this point.
Right.
He hosted an event already at Jax's. Like, by the way, what a horrible experience for someone that is dealing with mental health issues and addiction to own a bar. Like, what? Go own a library, a bookstore. Like, there's so many other things that you could do. He's not someone that only can own a bar. Like, this was the worst decision ever. And it really was crazy when he said with Tom Schwartz, like, next thing you know, I'll be divorced. And
I
like, owning a bar is a nightmare.
I remember hearing him on Heather McDonald's podcast, and he said these words: "The two worst things for a relationship would be to own a bar and be in a band." He was talking
Yeah.
about Sandoval. I was like, okay, well, are we going to get the Jax Taylor experience next? That's going to be the band that he starts. I mean, what?
I was so
Uh,
hoping when he went on, I think I remember that episode, and I feel like that was right when the Scandival
yeah.
came out, and he hadn't yet come back on TV or like even gotten close to it. I remember thinking to myself, "Wow, I miss Jax. Like, he's such a good guy now. He seems great."
Yes. He was on
We'll have to see.
quite a tour of getting his image up, and it worked because I
It
was like,
really
you
worked.
know what, we should bring that lovable dum dum back to our screens.
And now, I mean,
And now look what
truthfully,
happened.
but the valley is gonna be so good because
Oh,
we're gonna
it's gonna
watch
be
all
so
this go down. It's gonna
yeah,
be amazing.
yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears because I really do wanna talk about this for 46 days, but,
Wait.
yeah.
Your person in your comment just said, "Isn't he banned from the state of Hawaii?"
I
Remember when
don't
he
know if he
stole the
actually
sunglasses? He
is,
was a
but
felon there.
yes, it was like a crazy story. He totally stole glasses, gave them to Britney. He stole them for Britney and then got caught, went to prison or went to jail or
Went to
whatever, and then
jail.
had to go to
Yeah.
court. They went
Yeah.
back for a court case. I don't think he's banned.
That's funny. That was
But
funny though. Is he
but
banned from the state of Hawaii? Yeah. Yeah.
can you imagine? Like, on the top of their wanted list is just Jax
Yeah, don't
Taylor.
let this guy in. He's not welcome on Maui. No.
Okay, so we've got to switch and talk a little bit about OC last night. So, Real Housewives of OC aired an episode last night where we finally got the entire cast back on, and by that I mean Fun Lexi. Fun Lexi joined us again last night. I was really not excited about that. The episode was called A Picture Worth 1,000 Words, and that probably comes to the picture that we saw at the very end of the episode of Shannon from her
Mm,
phone, which
mhm.
we'd seen it in the trailer, but it really was shocking to see in person. I do believe. Okay, I need to know your thoughts, and I think I know your thoughts. I would be shocked if we weren't on the same page about this, but maybe we're not.
Okay.
Are you enjoying Fun Lexi
The only person enjoying Fun Lexi is Lexi.
and Tamra?
And not even Tamara. Tamara's just doing it for the show. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. No, I'm not enjoying Alexis back on my screen. I didn't enjoy her the first time around. I'm not
Mhm.
enjoying her this time around. I'm not enjoying her try to rebrand Johnny J. I'm not enjoying any of it. And I think it is torture to Shannon, who deserves better. She's an OG housewife. She deserves better. I'm not enjoying it at all. No.
Yet, I'm going to play the devil's advocate and say that Lexi, as annoying as Alexis is, her being on the show this season is the best possible thing for Shannon's public image ever.
Yeah. Yes.
Had she not been on the show and had they not gone into this crazy, like John Jansen, Alexis, money is owed, suing, this and that, Shannon would be the villain of the season. Not the villain, but we would have a really hard time with Shannon. Because remember, Shannon made some major, major errors before the season started. So
Yeah.
it's really actually a gift from production. As much as people are like, production's an asshole that they brought Alexis back, I actually think they're doing Shannon a solid because I have not met one person that is not on Team Shannon. Well, I've met like 2 people
That are
that
not
are
Team
not on
Shannon.
Team Shannon.
Yeah. Well, if we have to choose, right? If we have to choose, then we're going to choose Shannon because what is happening here is terrible. She did crash her car into a house and pretend to walk her dog. I mean, that did happen.
I hate to
Right.
laugh. It's wild.
I mean, that's bad. You don't drink and drive. We got the whole story. She went over to
Horrible.
John Jansen's to help with the thing. But now, and I heard Tamara on some podcast, and then I heard somebody else talk about blah, 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 blah. The Tamara's like, no, this is footage that he has from inside and outside of the house over months of time. Why? Why are we keeping footage over months of time from inside and outside your house? And California is a 2-party state. So it's not like he can put this on the internet, her yelling at him in the house or whatever, because she didn't know she was being recorded. I don't know. All of that is so gross. And maybe he was doing it because he's like, hey, one day I'm going to have to get a restraining order against this crazy lady. So I think I'm going to just save these videos. But if you're so, so, so happy with fun Lexi, why are you doing all this? Let it go. Move on with your life. Be happy with your fun Lexi. Be happy with her.
Especially because the biggest reason he's mad at her, allegedly, the biggest reason he's mad at Shannon, allegedly, is because Shannon is dragging his name and giving him this really bad reputation that she paid for everything. And he's very offended that she is making him look like this horrible person. But just like Jax, like, we don't need Shannon's stories. We're seeing it in front of our eyes right now.
Yeah.
You are suing your ex-girlfriend for money that you gave her for a facelift after she provided so much love and attention and money towards you. You're doing awful things. Like, you don't need Shannon to drag your name. You're dragging your own name.
Yeah, you're making yourself look bad. I agree with all that. And I think what I heard on the Bravo docket, they went through these documents and they said that there was never a signed contract between them. He didn't say, you owe me $60,000. She said, yes, I agree, and signed it. They did write a contract up, but neither one of them signed it.
Yeah.
So guess what? It's not a valid contract. You could take that to court all day long. But why are you dragging this to the court system and spending more and more money to prove your point that you paid for her facelift? She's already said you gave her the money.
She's not denying it. She just doesn't
Yeah.
want to pay it back.
It was a gift, she thought.
I feel like I feel like while they were filming the show, the cast and John Jansen had in their minds the way it was going to go. They had in their minds that Shannon was just going to be like public enemy number 1. The world was going to hate Shannon and they were going to come off as somewhat like vindicated or something. I think that's a big part of why Tamara is acting the way she is. I think she thinks in her mind, the world is finally going to see what I've been seeing with Shannon, which by the way, I am not in any way saying that Shannon is a perfect person by any means. Obviously, even before or away from, away from the drunk driving accident, Shannon is like, there's a lot of issues there.
Yes.
Remember fights that paralyzed me? Like, she's got some stuff going on. So I don't by any means think that she's innocent or perfect or whatever. But when you're given like a box of really, really crappy chocolates and they all have ingredients that you don't want, like, you go for the best of the worst if you have to have one. And that's how I feel about this.
Yeah, I just feel I think personally I have empathy for Shannon because she's gone through something terrible and it's public. Do I think she should be drinking on camera? Nope.
Okay, let's
I
talk about
and
that for just a quick
I
second
don't.
then.
I think it'd be
L
real easy just to be like, I'm not going to drink on camera.
I don't understand. It's actually really confusing to me, and maybe you can speak to this since your husband went through this, if there is an actual issue, because I think, like, if I feel judged for any behavior that I do, maybe I'll just do it when I'm alone. Like, I don't want the world to say, "See?
Yeah.
See?
hmm
See?" So, the fact that she's having that one drink because 'cause we're on vacation, she says, when she's sitting with Gina and
There's always
Emily.
an excuse, but never a reason. My husband will tell you. There's always an
Oh,
excuse, but
yeah.
never a reason.
There's
I
always
mean,
an excuse, but never a reason. And
yeah,
Gina says, "Why are you having this drink when Tamara is going so hard on you? And I'm sober." Like,
yeah.
she's not at some like wine bar taking shots. You're having some snacks outside of the bar. This is not a place you need to drink to feel like you fit in.
But I'm telling you right now from experience, her saying out loud, "Well, sure, I could. We're on vacation." And just like when she was in the car with Vicky, and Vicky is enabling her. And listen, I love Vicky. I'm die hard for Vicky, but Vicky is enabling her by going, "It's okay. You're not driving. You can have one drink. That's right. I can have one drink." And they're going back and forth.
That's so
She's like,
true.
she's like, "I'm trying to tell you it's okay." And she's like, "It's okay." I'm just saying, I think it's a misstep on her part to be just like, explaining on camera why she's having one drink, explaining on camera, "Sometimes I have 2 drinks." I mean, one time I had 3. You have you have a problem because
Yeah.
you're over explaining it. You're
She's
over
living with,
explaining it.
like, alcohol noise, and I
Yes.
imagine that that's, like, people that struggle, and I even to an extent sometimes have that because I don't like when I drink too much, like, when I go through weekends and when you're overindulging,
Yes. Yeah.
and I sometimes, like, I wake up in the morning and I stress out about why did I drink that?
Why
It's
did I do
more.
that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, or, like, I'll wake up on Tuesday or Wednesday and, like, I'll think, like, "Oh, I'm so glad that, like, it's been a few nights and I haven't had a drink." Like, I think about alcohol. It's
Yeah,
not
I do
to an
too.
Yeah, it's not to an extent of like, I need it, countdown, stress about,
Right.
but I have food and alcohol noise. That's something
I
that
do
I
too.
struggle with. Okay.
I do too. Yeah, I do
I
too.
believe I believe Shannon is living her day to day, like in that moment when she found out about these videos at the spa and then panicked.
That was
I thought to
horrible.
myself, is there a way that she's going to try to find alcohol and bring it back to her room and like deal with it by drinking alone? Probably, right?
She doesn't need to bring it. She already has it in her bag, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I think
that's
she
very
does.
possible.
And I think a lot of what my husband told me one time that's really resonated with me, and I've shared this with a lot of people, is that when you're an alcoholic, you're not thinking about this drink that I have. You are thinking about how am I going to get the next 5.
Mm.
You are pre-thinking at noon, is it okay if I go to lunch with the person and I have 2 drinks? Will they judge me or they have 2 drinks? Or should I not go to lunch with people that also won't have 2 drinks with me anymore? And at dinner, we're going to a restaurant that only serves wine and beer. So I'm going to have enough vodka beforehand that I can get through the dinner to only have 2 glasses of wine to stay da da da. Da. And then when I get home, my wife won't notice because she'll go to bed and then I'm going to have the 5 drinks. It's non-stop thinking about not the drink in front of you, but the 5 ahead.
What's
And so
next?
what's next? How could I make sure that I'm always having my drinks? And it's very uh, anxiety inducing to think that where we're going might not have what I need.
Yeah, you're planning ahead for how to access it,
How to
basically.
access it to make sure you're staying at whatever level it is. And it's that I need it, I need it, I need it. And I think that Shannon probably has that. And what I said was when you're seeing her in the car with Vicky and they're like, it's okay if you have a drink. Yeah, it's okay. It's your own vacation. It's fine. You're not driving, all the excuses. I think that she's doing that, but also don't think she wasn't sitting in glam having a drink or 2 because she knew she could only have one at the restaurant.
Yeah, and she
You
was
know,
anxious and she's stressed out, which is probably her go-to is to
of
like go have a
course.
drink when she's having stress.
Yeah.
Whereas like, yeah, I mean, it all tracks and it's very easy. When Tamara said that one story, which was shitty to do on camera, all of this is really shitty that we're even having these open conversations about Shannon's like inner
Drinking.
demons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shitty and I don't feel good about having the conversations, but it really is like a huge part of the season. And so, and I see in the comments, people are very heated about this both ways, right? Some people think it's very upsetting that we even
Yes.
try to label her as something that without her saying it. Some people say it's obvious she is. So I understand this is a very sensitive subject and I feel for her, but that's so much more of a reason to not order that drink.
That's my whole thing is look, she might be having these struggles off camera. She may be having 4 drinks with her glam and 5 drinks when she gets home. It's all of that's none of our business. She needs to get sober and healthy and happy for herself. And I think Gina made a great point last week when she said, look, because Tamara was like, oh, well, I mean, you stopped drinking. What? I mean, you weren't an alcoholic. And she goes, I absolutely did have a problem with drinking. And I didn't stop right away because she sort of had that attitude of Shannon, like, well, I'm not an alcoholic. I just had this one bad night.
Yep.
And a lot of people do that too. And again, it's the excuse. You excuse it because you're like, if I just make it okay, then it's okay. But Gina could, and she probably has talked to Shannon about that. Like, I didn't stop drinking right away either. It took me a while to come to realize, like, oh, the alcohol controls me. I don't control it. Like when you're talking, Donna, about yourself, and I'm talking about myself, you may wake up with like regret, like, oh God, why did I have 3 drinks with my friends last night? I didn't even want to have 3 drinks. And I just like came home and watched TV. Like that was a waste of
Or I came home
calorie.
and ate like really like cheesy popcorn for
I ate a box of chocolates, literally. And, and you're like, oh, why'd I do all that? And then you start getting the food noise. And why did I do that? And then I ate all of that will, for Shannon, if she could just be like sober and get the physical addiction away, then you can work on the why you're doing it. But if you're not taking if you're not taking the drink away, you're not going to be able to work on the mental part of it.
It's really a devastating and sad situation, especially because she does have children, especially because she does have, I just feel for her. She's so fragile. Watching her on this show and seeing how she gets affected. Now, what did you think about Gina releasing that information to her about the videos? So in the spa, they're sitting there, they're getting ready for massages. Shannon's already kind of like antsy because Alexis is on this trip. But Gina does mention you should just pay him because of those videos, something along those lines. She had no idea about the videos. Did you think that?
I think I don't know. I don't know if Gina just assumed that she knew it.
I think it was the best possible thing for her to find out, though.
Oh, okay.
The reason why is because I think now it's part of the show. So like it was going to come out somehow, like whether it was going to come out at a big group dinner or a big party or a big like trip or something. I feel like or just come out the videos, I feel like it's better that Shannon heard about it in a small, safe group with the women all being very supportive towards her, giving her love and
a producer was going to ask her about it on her talking head. And then she's going to be completely blindsided.
Like, wait, what? And she, had a moment to go back to her room and God knows do what, whatever. And then she had that last part of the show where she went to Heather and she showed Heather, I want to show it. Now, what do you think her reasoning was showing Heather that picture that she sent to John the night of the accident?
Okay. This is my question to you.
Yes.
Is she saying to Heather, this is the picture the night of the accident. He punched me in the eye and I was bleeding. And then I got in my car, da, 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 da. Or is she saying, this is the picture of me after the accident when my face hit the steering wheel or whatever? What? I didn't quite, in my mind, it's a picture after the accident. She broke her arm. She smashed her face. She went to the
hospital. Like that picture was a lit up room. She was not walking the streets of Newport Beach with her dog in that picture. I think that's after they took her.
Okay. But the way that we've been led to believe, she's showing her this picture to shock her. Like, you don't know what I went through with this guy. So I don't know if this is like, when we watch TLC shows, we say we got Matt Sharp because Matt Sharp always like put in these things. We're like, dang it, he tricked us. Is this like Bravo production tricking us to make us think that she is saying, I got punched in the eye and this is what happened?
Well,
but really it's just after the accident.
Yeah, Andrew just said something that I think that this was my go-to about it. I think she was showing it to show that she was badly injured. She let John in on it, and he didn't respond until the police came to his door 2 hours later saying, here's Archie. And then he was like, wait, what the heck happened? Without being like, oh my God, are you okay? Now, it's possible she sent the picture after 12. It's possible the guy was also drunk and just passed out and like didn't see it. And then all of a sudden the cops are at his door with the dog. And he didn't have a chance to like go through his phone. He probably just immediately texted her. I don't know. I mean, who knows? And I don't know, but that picture was jarring to the soul, like to see a picture of Shannon with a full bloodied face. But also you're skipping like Shannon, you're pushing this onto John, this part, which this is not the battle we need to fight. That John
No,
wasn't like
it's 100% her fault that she got in her car, drove to John's to get help to find her phone, blah, 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 blah. 100% her fault that she drove over there. I don't care if it was 3 minutes away. Most major accidents happen within 5 miles of your home.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't care. She shouldn't have been drinking and driving. The end, the end, the end. We can all agree with that. I think she can agree with that. He's a piece of shit. We can all agree with that. So we don't need to say like, this is the picture of me when I had my accident. And Heather's like, oh, okay, you had a car accident. So I kind
Yeah.
of don't understand the point of the picture having to do with John Jansen. It's her car accident.
It didn't make any sense because what she should have done was, I'm coming to you, Heather, because I want to share with you that there are these videos that John said that he's releasing. I've decided to just pay the money. I hate him. He's an asshole. But showing the picture was showing, look what an asshole he was. He saw that I was injured and he didn't even come to me. And he maybe heard the accident because it was 20 seconds from
That's
his
what he's, yeah,
house.
people say it
And
was so close to his house and there's no way you don't hear a car crashing into a house.
especially because
Screech!
they were probably yelling and then she left. It wasn't like he was, out on the docks, like sleeping or whatever. He was in the midst of a conversation with her, probably. She
Mhm.
left and got in the car accident. Of course, I would think he would know. I also don't believe, truthfully, and it's possible he didn't hear it. I don't know. Even if they were in a huge fight, don't you think he would go out there and be like, what just happened? Like, that's natural to go out if you hear a car accident.
Not if you just at that point in your relationship, like, I gotta hate this person. I don't even care. I'm going to bed.
I
I'd,
don't
I'd be
know
more
how.
concerned
I
about
mean,
Archie.
Lance and I could be in the biggest fight of life. But if he drove off and I heard that, I don't know how I wouldn't like go outside. Like, that's really crazy to not go check.
I people are like, once he went into his house, maybe he didn't hear. I don't know. They were in a very toxic relationship. They clearly were not in a good space. He clearly didn't even like her anymore as a human
Mhm.
and didn't give a shit that she had a car accident. Now we did see them in the days following, paparazzi pictures. We
Together.
did see them together.
Yeah, that he was
Um,
fully supporting her in those first few weeks, remember? And then she said that she went to go stay with Vicky, with the Archie, and then all of a sudden John ghosted her and 9 days later was with Alexis.
yeah. Yeah. Listen, there's no winners here. There's
No.
there's no winners here. And it's even too, like you were saying about like at a box of chocolates with like the ones that are filled with something you hate. You're like, okay, I guess I'll take it. So in the situation, you're so right. And that without Fun Lexi and Johnny J, it would be a different season for Shannon.
I
It
think
would.
without Johnny J and Fun Lexi, we would be rolling our damn eyes every time Shannon tried to like play the victim. But because
Yeah.
she's getting inundated with this ex and his new girlfriend that talks about how much they're having sex every 5 seconds, and she's Alexis, which is already annoying.
Yes.
And she had sued or was part of that lawsuit again. There's so many reasons that now we're like, poor Shannon. But I really do believe that John Jansen, and I've said this on the show, dosers know, I've said this from the very beginning. The root of the problem, yes, Shannon has issues, but the root of the major problems of Shannon's life after she got divorced, I believe, come down to Johnny J. I think dirty John Jansen is not like a good person in any capacity. That's my thought.
Yeah, I agree. I think that anybody that's going to just purposely start dating a former cast member on this show where all he proclaimed all the time, I don't want to be on TV. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm a professional. This is so embarrassing. And then immediately starts dating a thirst bucket who's dying to get back on the show. I think he's a bad guy. But again, we can't take away from the fact Shannon did do this. She has to take responsibility for a DUI. And I did somebody in the comments about the no mugshot. And I did hear somebody else on a podcast say in Orange County or Newport Beach or wherever they were that it's not required that you have a mugshot if it's a DUI. So that's why she doesn't have
Wow.
one. Yeah, that's why she doesn't have one.
Because we would have seen that bloody picture, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it's also people are like, if she didn't have a phone, how'd she take this picture? I'm like, I'm sure the cops took it and then now she's got it, you know?
That's another thing that I saw Teddy Mellencamp talked about in a clip. Teddy
Mm.
and Erica, they recap OC, and Teddy had said something about like, I just realized that when she was showing Heather her phone, she wasn't showing a text. She was showing just the picture. And so maybe she never even texted it to John. Like, we're just taking it. Here's the thing.
I thought she didn't have her phone though.
Yeah,
She
the whole thing is so
Yeah,
confusing and it's
yeah.
so pointless. It also none of it really tracks or makes sense. I don't think Shannon even remembers the night. I
No.
truly don't believe Shannon has any real memory of what happened, which is why those videos scare the shit out of her.
Yeah,
Because
right.
if I said, Mary Payne, I have a video of you from the last 30 minutes, you'd be like, so? Because you knew exactly what you did. It's the
Right.
unknown. She doesn't know what is on that video.
Right.
And that's
Scary.
why she's so panicked about it.
Yeah.
So,
Awful.
okay. So at the end of the day, and I know we have to wrap it up in a second, but at the end of the day, Shannon is lucky that Alexis is on the season. I think it's her only saving grace.
Agreed.
And she's lucky that John Jansen is treating her so badly. But other than that, Shannon is just, I feel like she's just always going to be here until something changes. Like she and Jax Taylor are both really needing a wake-up call.
But it might be the same as Gina. It might just take her a little bit of time. She's in denial, and it might and a car accident's not the DUI is not what's going to tip her over.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what it is. You know, with Gina, she's just like, I just had to come to realize it for myself. And that is the bottom line. Anybody in the chat will agree. Anybody that is dealing with somebody with a substance abuse, an addiction, they have to want it for themselves. You can't want it for your wife or your kids or your granddad or your job. You have to want to do it for yourself. And if you don't, you're never going to do it. And that's why I think Gina's point was so poignant. It was like, no, I had to realize it for myself.
Yeah.
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 And
Absolutely.
also hashtag where's Roger?
Where is Roger Berman? Where are you? I mean, I think I know. So MP, tell everyone where they can find you, how they can follow you along. Are you here on YouTube? Are you just on podcast apps?
Yeah, we do YouTube. I believe Ingrid, my producer, puts up just the audio on YouTube of everything. And then I always do Love After Lockup with my co-host Keisha on Mondays, Mugshot Monday. We always do Love After Lockup on YouTube. And then I'll do, like I just had an interview with Emily and Kobe of 90 Day, and that'll be up on YouTube. When I do fun interviews, I put those up. And then I try to here and there during the week. I'm like, okay, look, I had some mascara on. Let's put this YouTube. But if I am like fresh out of the bed with my hair sticking up and all that, like nobody needs to see that hot mess.
I want to see it all.
No, I mean, at least once a week.
I want Mary Payne unfiltered.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
That's kind of just who you are, though. I feel like you're an unfiltered person, and I love it about you. I actually feel like you and I could chat forever if you didn't have your very important appointment.
I've got to go to a very important appointment, guys. I am going to be in New York next week. So
What?
there's a big TLC party on a boat, like a yacht
No
party
way.
with the cast and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to that.
Which casts?
It'll be a lot of the past cast, you know, like the David and Annie's and the sort of the more known cast members, and then some cast members from the new show before the 90 Days that just started. That is
really okay.
So,
I don't watch any of that stuff. So if you guys like the before the 90 days stuff, go and check out MP Mary Payne at the Pink Shade podcast on Tuesdays. And obviously you do talk about Sister Wives. You must.
I don't.
But you watch it?
Nope.
What?
Listen, Sister Wives, Kardashians, The Bachelor. Listen, name a big show. I feel it's too late for me. Listen,
that's how I feel about 90 Days.
Ask me anything about Sister Wives. I know everything, but I've never watched it.
What's Robin Brown's favorite color?
Probably brown.
No, it's purple. She has
Whatever.
a purple carpet. I love.
She's got bad taste.
Oh my God. It's amazing. You guys, thank you so much, Mary Payne, for being here. Happy Friday to everyone. I hope you guys have an incredible weekend. Go and listen to her episodes. And I was on her show last week if you want to hear that crossover. So and we'll do this again for sure. We have to just like stick together because of our wallpapers. We're like the forest and the garden.
Do you ever talk to Amy Phillips? She's got good wallpaper too.
Amy Phillips is a good friend of mine. I know Amy from auditioning days. So I
Yeah.
love Amy. Thank you, Maddie, for the super sticker. You're awesome. Thank you guys so much. And yes, Patreon this weekend from me. And I know you have a Patreon on Friday as well. So bye, y'all. Talk to you soon. Thanks, MP.